Steve, welcome to Oran Park for round 3 of the Australian Porsche Cup. With me I've got the two drivers from the Toll Express team, Paul Little and Anthony Tratt. Paul, welcome to Oran Park.
Thank you.
Paul, this is a fantastic looking team. The Toll Express cars really are the standout cars in the Porsche Cup. Can you tell me just what it takes to put this kind of a deal together?
Certainly. Well, it's taken us 2 or 3 years of preparation, a lot of late nights and a very cooperative and understanding sponsor.
Well, definitely the crew are hard workers. The cars here at Oran Park, what kind of lap speeds could we expect here? Well,
average lap speed for our cars is around about the 165, 167 kilometres an hour.
So the cars are certainly not slow. Difficult to drive?
They can be a bit twitchy, particularly in the wet, but we're looking forward to a fine weekend. So at this point in time, it's looking good for us.
Anthony, you're the lead driver in the Toll Express team. Obviously, information exchange is important between the two cars?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. We try to get both the cars as far up the field as we possibly can. Paul tries various things in his car. I do the same. In the end, we look at the lap times and see which is the best way to go.
The question that we just got to ask, team orders, do they exist in your team?
Well, not really. We're just whoever's actually higher up during the race, and if we're consistently lapping at that time, whoever's in front generally goes across the line that way.
Well, the Toll Express team ready to rock and roll. Round 3 of the Australian Porsche Cup. It's a perfect day for motor racing here at Oran Park. As we settle in for the warm-up lap, I've got Greg Rust with me in commentary.
A terrific field of purpose-built Porsche Cup races here. Pole position has gone to defending champion Wayne Park out of position 2. In the Grundig machine, Chris Hones. From 3, it's Jeff Morgan. Out of 4, in the lovely Toll Express machine, is Anthony Tratt. From 5, Tom Williams. And out of 6, the talented youngster, Gavin Croft.
As the cars settle themselves in for a warm-up lap, these really are interesting pieces of equipment to look at. They are purpose-built race machines. In fact, a lot of investment. Here's Chris Hones's cockpit view. Chris, let's go through some of the instruments in the cockpit. Turbocharging gauge, boost pressure, very important.
Yeah, the boost pressure gauge is up on the front here, just near the windscreen where you'll be looking out. So out the corner of my eye, I know pretty well how much boost we got on board most times. Over on the side is a fuel pressure gauge, which is very important on an electronic fuel injected car, because if that drops down, we start to run a bit lean. The other main gauge that you're going to be interested in, of course, is the tacho. So you're not over-revving the engine or anything. I mean, the whole art of driving a race car is to drive it as fast as you can without crashing it or blowing up. And one of the most important things is to make sure you don't over-rev it with that in mind. Other gauges, of course, the fuel, oil pressure and oil temperature. They're very important as well. And down on the bottom here, we have a brake balance control. So you can adjust the amount of braking effort applied to the brakes to give you either more front or more rear, depending on the way the suspension's set up sometimes, the tyres we got on, or the weather conditions. So it's important to have that just right so that you got the right amount of braking effort.
As the cars settle themselves now for a start in round 3 of the Australian Porsche Cup, 12 laps about to unfold here at Oran Park. It's a downhill run. You have to be careful not to roll forward off the start. We'll get good traction. Well, it looks as if Park's gotten away side by side with Hones, and also Tratt up there in the Toll Express machine along with Morgan as they try and square themselves down into Agip for the first time. Here comes Gavin Croft up the inside. Oh, a little bit of a bump and push. That's Steve Webb, 22. He's the current leader of Class B. And gee, I tell you what, Greg, they've really started to get on with it very early in the piece.
Yeah, they certainly have. One of the cars to keep an eye out for, of course, is the Chris Hones Grundig machine. It's an absolute flame spitter, so keep an eye on that one as it makes its way around the circuit here at Oran Park. There's Jim Richards and Peter Fitzgerald dicing it out in the Porsche 968 CSs.
Yeah, I think right at the moment the name of the game is to try and figure out there's 2 classes, there's actually 2 races. Our current leader, Wayne Park, heads up onto the straight here at Oran Park. And there goes Steve Webb, the leader of Class B. Second and third in Class B is Fitzgerald and Richards as the field streams through. Park in control. Here comes Hones looking for a run up the inside. His 930S, another of the very modified Porsches out here. It just goes to show that these guys really have put a lot of effort and time. That's the RSR of Morgan on screen there, number 4. That is one of only 20 of these cars built in the world. He's followed by Tratt in the Toll Express machine. Gee, there's some good close-up views of the cars. Just have a look how they move around. Coming up out of Momo, heading for the dogleg, a very fast part of the circuit.
Certainly is. Just keep an eye on them as they make their way down into Recaro's speed line. That's Jeff Morgan in the RSR. That car has a conservative estimate around about 240 kilowatts of power.
Yeah, and approximately the same amount in dollars to buy the machine. Here's Park in the lead. Hones following him. It looks to me as if the battle at the moment is for third place, and this Mauve machine with one angry Gavin Croft up the inside with a nice manoeuvre there under brakes. That's Withers in the Mauve machine, but young Crofty, he's got himself a big future in this sport, and really is a steerer. Came from HQ Racing. It's great to see that he's picked up some decent sponsorship with the car and is settling into it. Obviously there's a lot of things that require tuning. He'll get into it. It'll take him a little while, but great to see Gavin Croft up there as well. That's Withers in behind him. Here's Tratt on screen at the moment, though. This car really is a treat. He's just behind Morgan as they head up onto the straight. Gee, not a lot of room there between the guard and the wall, but I suppose so long as there's a centimetre, that's enough. Here's Hones on screen again, spitting flames. Gee, this thing is spectacular to watch. And just have a look at Tratt under brakes. Geez, he's strong under brakes, and that really is showing Morgan that he has to just cover that line.
Interestingly enough, the car out in front, of course, driven by Wayne Park, is actually modelled on a 1977 Shell 911.
Yeah, I suppose one of the things with the Porsche Cup is that you can have competition amongst models that have varying and many different prices. In fact, the car on screen probably the most expensive, with Park maybe not quite as expensive out in front, but Park's doing a nice job on screen though. It is the battle for third place. That's Chris Hones in the blue machine, still spitting flames just out in front of them, but Tratt in the Toll Express machine does look strong indeed. You can see again that he'll be looking to try and get up under brakes. Here's Gavin Croft coming into view, and Withers. Looks like Williams the next one through, and you can see on the far right-hand side of your screen, now centre of screen, this is the battle for third in Class B. That is Richards and Peter Fitzgerald going at it. Gee, a nice tight line down there as, let's say, Richo there looking for a line up the inside. Couldn't do anything with it, though. Peter Fitzgerald's well and truly got it covered.
These cars are very, very evenly matched. If you watch Richards as he goes around the circuit, trying to make his way past Fitzgerald, he is using every inch of the track and then some.
Yeah, these guys are super experienced here at Oran Park. They really do know their way around. You can see them using ripple strips and virtually anything else, possibly some of the paintwork of the other competitor dust up there as they use all of the track. Richo's doing a nice job though. The name of the game, be nice and smooth. Look for the drive up onto the straight. You can see there Richo using all of the track, looking for that drive. Here we are with our leader. This is Wayne Park carrying the #1 plate, settling himself in. This is a nice tidy drive one more time. And remember that Park leads the point score right at the moment, along with Steve Webb from Class B. So both of these guys at this point in the race are in the lead and adding to that point score.
Around about 230 kilowatts of power coming from this car. The 3.8 litre, normally aspirated 6.
Yes, these are exciting cars. It'd be absolutely fantastic to go for a ride in one. In fact, you can. Not only can you win a ride in Chris Hones' machine, but you can also win this Grundig TV. If you ring 0055 22360, you can get the details on this competition running throughout the duration of the Australian Porsche Cup.
There, of course, is Tratt in the Toll Express machine again. He's coming right up on the back of the old El Paso machine of Morgan now. Morgan, of course, a very successful proprietor of an agency placement business here in Sydney. But boy, oh boy, it's a three-way battle here for second place.
This is really where it's starting to come down towards the last few laps of this race, and you can see right now that Tratt probably is in the driver's seat. He can have a bit of a think about what's going on. Hones now using a covering line. Morgan's got plenty of power to burn. Here comes Tratt up the inside. That hasn't worked for him this time. Let's hope he hasn't shown his hand too early. But Hones, I've got a feeling that he's got enough horsepower, in fact maybe a little too much horsepower, and that the rear tyres are starting to give him a bit of grief. You can see there the machine really is moving around. Now Morgan, he'd be looking for anywhere he can get the nose of the RSR in there, and Tratt should be able to look after the tyres, just sitting back having a bit of a look. But just have a look at the attitude that he's getting Hones there as he came off the dogleg and down into this tight left-hander and then rise up onto the straight, all close to the wall. Gee, Hones was really close to the wall that time through, and you think that Morgan might be able to take some advantage of it. Here they come now. That's Norrison just disappearing off the end of the screen there. These guys are about to be lapped, so this is where luck could come into play.
Morgan looking for a move on Hones there every which way he possibly can. Talking with Hones just prior to the event, he made a comment about how long the tyres would last here at this hot Oran Park circuit. Unfortunately, as a result of the recent earthquake in Kobe in Japan, the drivers were having to offer a different kind of tyre from England, and they didn't think it would last the distance. Yeah, plenty of drivers have had to reach into old stocks or change to a tyre compound sizing that they're not quite comfortable with. Oh, Morgan again, late under brakes. That was looking pretty ominous there on the back of Hones's machine. You can see him getting sideways. Here's the battle for Class B. So it's still Fitzy and Richo going at it for second place. Steve, when he's out of shot, he's in fact in front of these guys. So he's pretty well got Class B sewn up. He's looking very strong. These two, though, going at it, enjoying themselves. And of course, they've got to contend with the lap competitors as well. Final lap now. That was Gavin Croft just out of screen. He'd be quite pleased with his performance right at the moment as they obviously settle themselves down. There's another round to be run, so for these guys, they really don't want to trash engines and especially tyres because they are in short supply. Park for the final time off the dogleg. Gee, this car looks good. Absolutely accomplished drive from this man. He'd be very happy with the way the team has put his car together. Heads for the checker, so it'll be Wayne Park with the #1 plate takes the points. Hones in second, Jeff Morgan coming through in third. A great race here for round 3 of the Australian Porsche Cup at Oran Park. Right now, Speed Week and Grundig are giving one lucky viewer the chance to win this fabulous television. Exclusively designed by FA Porsche and valued at $3,600. Plus the chance to win a ride with Chris Hones in the Grundig Racing Porsche. Call 0055 22360 to be in the draw for this valuable prize. You can enter as many times as you want. The winner will be announced on September the 16th. High-tech innovation from Grundig and Porsche.
Right now on Speed Week, we return to Cincinnati, USA to watch the Nitrous Outlaws wrap up their Pro Modified series.